Hello, I'm Komal Sharma and you're listening to the Lounge Podcast, a weekly show that gives you music, movies, art and culture news. On today's edition, we'll be visiting Chandigarh, a city that became an extraordinary laboratory of architecture and town planning. I'm sure you know the story. Swiss-French architect Le Corbusier, on Nehru's invitation post-independence, conceived and designed a way of living for a people whose culture and life he was completely unfamiliar with. 60 years later, it's still a design wonder. Exploring this is French photographer Manuel Bougot, who is presenting his photo exhibition Chandigarh, Portrait of a City. We talk to Manuel about his inspirations and his takeaway from this Chandigarh project. Hi Manuel.
Hi.
Welcome to the Lounge Podcast.
Thank you.
So, very quickly, first, if you could tell our listeners about, what drew you to Corbusier's architecture and hence Chandigarh.
I'm interested about Chandigarh since a long time. I was working on the architecture of Le Corbusier. I began in 1980s, so it's more than 20 years now.
Okay.
And I was working with a friend, her thesis in architecture on the Maison Jaoul in Paris. And I was taking pictures also with others houses from Le Corbusier. I like this architecture. And we often spoke about this project with my friend Caroline about Chandigarh. Just for us, for a French photographer, the name of Chandigarh is kind of magic,
Sure.
So we wanted to do this project and Caroline other projects. So I decided to produce the image alone now.
Okay. I was going through some of your pictures, and to photograph a city is quite it's a big subject. So maybe you could tell us one thing that really stood out about Chandigarh for you as a photographer.
In fact, there was a lot of photographers who tried to portray this city.
Right.
And I knew some of them, and they often failed because they arrived in Chandigarh and they wanted to take the pictures as a foreigner without speaking with the people. And my project was not to portray the architecture of Chandigarh. My project was to see how Indians live in the architecture of Le Corbusier, the encounter between the two cultures. And first, what I wanted is to take only interiors, to show how Indians live inside the architecture.
So it's a sort of perspective from the local people, you're saying?
Yes. In fact, the project in Paris, I've met in a congress Mr. Balkrishna Doshi, which is an old Indian architect. But Mr. Doshi was working with Le Corbusier on Chandigarh when he was young. And he explained to me how he was interested to go back when he built houses or buildings, and he was very interested to go back in their houses to see how people live in the houses.
Right.
And how sometimes they change the houses.
Right.
And that was my point of view to portray Chandigarh.
That sounds great. Thank you so much for talking to us, Manuel.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. Chandigarh, Portrait of a City is on at Photo Inc., Jhandewalan, New Delhi, from September 11th to October 27th. That's all we have for you today. Thanks for listening in. Do write to us at feedback@livemint.com. Bye-bye.